Eyes down for the
Good morning, folks. Monday, and I got sidetracked. I was lighting the fire, and out of the firewood bag came this beautiful piece of, I'm going to call it mahogany because I think that's what it is, and I looked at it and I thought it had a little 90-degree bracket screwed onto that side. It also had one, and then I thought that would make a classic drill stand. So I got out those Morse taper drills that I found. These are the ones, as far as I remember, these are the ones that came with the Holbrook. And so I thought, what better than to make a drill stand? And of course I got drawn into it. So now I'm drawn into making a drill stand. So I've arranged them by size. There's a varied assortment here. There is one letter drill, which is an L. There is a couple of metric ones, but most of them are imperial. So I'm just going to arrange them in size and leave it at that. They're all marked, and all the markings on 90% of them are legible. That's a very badly damaged reamer. And this one, I think this one's beyond the pale. It's a lovely drill, but somebody's completely butchered the Morse taper, so there you go. That'll go in the also brands box, but the rest of them are good. And I've cleaned them up, and I've checked the sizes, and I've sharpened one or two of them, but most of them are sharp. And so now I'm going to work out how to arrange them on this beautiful piece of wood, which I shall, when I've drilled all the holes in it, I shall sand down nicely and finish with some teak oil or something. I've got some teak oil over there, I think, actually. Teak oil on mahogany. What a bodger. I've done it again, folks. Thought to myself, I'll get this marked out, then I'll film a bit, and I'll go and drill the holes, and I'll film a bit more. And of course I got carried away, didn't I? I forgot all about you. So there it is, halfway through the drilling. Looking good. Been very careful to get that on a level base and drill them all vertically. So how vertical they are, we'll find out in a minute. Right, I'll go drill the rest of them, and I'll put the drills in and bring you back, then we'll give it a sand off and a clean up. Right. And then we'll get back onto what we're supposed to be doing, which is cutting this bar down, making a spacer for there, probably putting a strong spring in there to stop it rattling, right, and then putting probably a thread on either end and just put a nut in, or I might just drop I might just weld a nut on one end and drop a pin through the other, just a little hairpin or something if I've got some. Then I have to do the same to this. Right, that's just a piece of round bar of the correct size stuck in but never cut to length. So we're gradually finishing. We're gradually finishing. And then I've got to go over and check that all the holes have been marked. And then I've got to take all that to bits, lift the lathe up, take these two pieces of steel out from underneath and drill them. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put slight slots in. And although I can't get my hand in, I'll probably get my hand in that end to hold a nut on. Or you can push a bolt up. On that end I'm probably going to put a nut on the end of a piece of flat strip. And just thread it in and lift it up. I'm also going to drill a couple of holes there, and the same at this end, to bolt a piece of box section across, to put a jack under, to lift it, so that people aren't tempted to lift on the cast iron. Right, get on with it. And there she is, folks, all drilled. I might even see if there's room I'll fill it up first, but I might even be able to just get a hole in there and a hole in there for a Morse taper adapter. A 1 to 2, which I've got one of somewhere around here, but at the moment, oh, it's there. Something like that in there. It probably requires a little slot, or I might not. On the other hand, I might not. Right, let's clean this up and give it a sand. And there we go, folks. It's handsome, or at least almost, because I've been drilling the holes very carefully, all to the same depth, which was a mistake, because some of these drills have longer tangs on the end than others, and what I've decided to do is to drill them right through. So I'm just going to go and do that now. I've put some Danish oil on there, which has looks good, and I'm going to drill them right through, give it another coat, and then job's done. Lovely. That's better. You can't beat a deeper hole. All stood up like little shoulders in a row, smashing. Right, now I'll be able to use those instead of having them chucking around in the bottom of a tin, in a drawer, getting blunt and knackered. You can't beat drill stands, or as they're properly called, drill indexes. I saw and nearly bought, and then I thought, no, it's not practical, a dormer shop display cabinet for drill bits up to 1/2 inch in the 32nd sizes, pressed metal with a like a perspex front, or a plastic see-through front anyway, with all the sizes marked on it. Very nice, but 45 quid. And when I looked at it, the front actually slides out, it slides up, it's not hinged. Now what I would have done was shortened it, narrowed it and hinged it from the top so you could just lift it up. But really it's designed for a shop display, and it's not as practical as this. So there's all my little drills set out. Wonderful. Right, let's get on with what we're supposed to be doing. The lathe. And there it is, folks, in place next to Sinister Meerkat. We bought one of those, we bought 2 of those, one for each of the girls, right? And after a while they rejected them because they used to give them the creeps when they were sitting in their bedrooms, because they had a sinister look on their face. It's a cheap copy of the ones that advertise insurance, but never mind. It looks out of my window scaring away burglars. There we go. A little job done. God, I get so easily sidetracked. But what a result, eh? Isn't that cracking? And there we are. Anti-rattle spring. Little rubber spacer in that end. And a nice domed period nut, if you like. So there we are. So the fabulous belt guard is drawing to a close, thank goodness. Right. Sometimes I find with projects, some of them go on too long. Right, we've got that to do next. What we're doing, chaps, is we're mopping up the little jobs that I've left. We've got that to do. We've probably got a piece of, I might fold a piece of steel to go around there and onto there to fill that end up, make it look neater, and just to give it a little bit more lift as it goes round into drive. Right, and then we've got to look at this, which is the collet closing block. Somehow we've got to make a handle there. It should be, as far as I can see, on the original one it looks like it's wood, and I've got some mahogany there. Is that mahogany? Yeah, that is mahogany. And it might well be thick enough. I might be able to get a piece out of there to make a handle. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it isn't thick enough because I need a collar on it as well. We'll see. I might cast it in aluminium. Who knows? I'll just make a pattern if I do, of course. But that's the thrust washer. That's the collet closing tube. So that's the thrust that the collet closing tube works up against. But for today, that is it. I've done my beautiful little drill stand, which was a complete side job, but of course you get dragged into these side jobs by not really wanting to start on the main job, and they get done, and all of a sudden the workshop runs easier because I can now just look at the drills and just pick one out instead of having to rake through tins of drills with a set of calipers to try and find the size I want. Right folks, that's it for Monday. See you all tomorrow for Tuesday. On Wednesday, Andy's coming with a load of antiques to repair, so it's going to be an Antiques Repair Wednesday again. And also on Wednesday, the courier's coming for Alex Steele's parcel. So I've got to print out the label tonight and stick it on it. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now. Morning folks, Tuesday. I've got a bit of a side up around the back of the lathe so I can get right round it. Ready for removing the all the bits of metal that I have to drill. I've just got the I've got a dummy piece in here while I cut off the other one. I just run for the camera to film everybody's favourite, the Rapido in action, and it bloody finished. So I'm sorry, but it's already cut. So now I'm going to stick it in the coal chester, and I'm going to just bore the end, face it off, bore the end, and put a thread in it just to screw a bolt in. On we go. Here we go, folks. Tapping size for the thread in the other end is actually 0BA, which is good because that lathe is covered in 0BAs, OBAs. Tapping size for that is 3/64, which I happen to have there, so let's do it. This lathe is so much improved now that I've realigned the headstock to the bed. You know, it makes a huge difference. Perfect centre drilling every time. There we go. Go off. Right. Chucking. 18/64 drill bit. And in we go. Squirting. Place now. Right, well I just recorded that, folks. I just recorded myself tapping the hole in the end of the bar, and I don't think it... There we go, folks. Fresh battery. Another little job completed. Right, next job. We'll put a piece on there, just to give it a little bit more lift when it puts the motor into gear. Right, so I shall fashion a piece of steel and bring you back. And as I was looking at this, I had a flash of inspiration. I was looking at that hole that wants blocking up, and I looked at this hole that wants blocking up, and I thought, just a minute, a piece of conduit in there would keep the wire out of the way and take it straight down to the starter, and it does. So I fitted it. There you go, one step nearer. So that's about it for today, folks. I haven't got much done because I kept getting sidetracked. Next, I've found some steel for there. I'm going to cut a piece and weld it over. It doesn't really need thickening up there. I thought it did. I thought it would push it further back. I may make something adjustable, but I don't know yet, until I can get the thing fully assembled and then start debugging it, because there are, I mean, it works. First problem we've got is this silly noise. Now why does it do that? It looks like if you separate that rubber from there, it stops. But I'd like to sort that out. I don't like things that buzz, right? But other than that, I think we're pretty much there. That's going to come off again, go back on. I think we're pretty much there. Just that buzz is annoying. I've got to sort that out. Right, so the next job is this collet handle. So let's have a look at that. Turn that horrible buzz off. Right, let's have a look at the collet handle. Morning, folks. It's Antiques Wednesday, and already we're into it. Already we've got taps, dies and threads all over the place. So what have I done here? I've taken this tiny broken piece out of there. I tried to find the thread. It's 7/32 BSF 28 TPI, which I haven't got taps or dies for, so what I've done is converted it to M6, and it's now repaired with the washer rotating and a new screw on. So that's now out for sale, and on with the rest. There we go, folks. Swords with broken tangs, blades with damaged tangs. New steel joined on just for Andy, ready to grind up and shape and fit back to the hilt again. Nice one. So what else have we got? All manner of wonderful things. And this is probably the most common job that I do, which is a sword blade which has had a tang on it, which is broken off. And so we weld a piece of weld a piece of rod on, and then we put a thread on, either to match the thread that's already there if I can find it, or with a new thread if not, so that the handle will go back on and it'll all bolt up together and be a sword again. But that's a great deal of what we do, is lengthening tangs or putting tangs back on where they've broken off. Oh dear, I've got a cold, I've got a sniffle. Never mind. And here's another selection that we've finished. All these for grinding up and threading. Oh, some of them don't get a threading, actually some of them rivet over. There we go. Beautiful bronze casting. Samson, J. Samson. So if you're watching Ivan Dutton, it's a Samson with the broken thread in it, which means it's not long enough to fix to its base anymore, so I'm going to make a longer thread and redo it all, refix it to its base there. Off we go. Bites the dust. The J. Samson casting, cast bust, now back on the base and looking very nice. So we're just sawing off a square 3/16 Whitworth nut, which will be filed up to size by Andy afterwards. But I've just finished making it. You haven't seen this, Andy. This is another thing I've finished. I put the starter on and it now auto stops.
Right.
Wonderful. Andy doesn't like being on camera. He's frightened of Antiques Roadshow coming and offering him a job. Auto stop. 6B8. Trying to make it fit. It's had a tiny thread in it which is stripped out.
Right.
And I'm trying to make it fit to put this whole back together.
Sorry.
See what we can do. So what we're doing here, folks, is making that simple thing. Bit of round bar, no 4 flats on it. If I've got a collet that'll go in, I can put it straight in the collet block and just no 4 flats on it. And that's the job done. Let's see how we go. First off, the hole. It's a piece of hot roll is this, so it's a bit of decent stuff supposedly. That's the centre hole. Now we'll go and find the tapping drill. Right, folks, we're set up in the collet block. We've got a milling cutter in there. We'll probably actually. No, I need a bigger milling cutter in. Anyway, it's the witching hour has arrived and it's got a bit late, so I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'll finish this tomorrow. So. Andy's knackered, I'm knackered, and I'm just going to show you what we've achieved today. It's lights out time. It's lights out time. And here we are, folks. This is what we've achieved today. A thread on the sword end with an extended tang. Extended tangs. And these are finished. These have been threaded, extended, and put back together. They just require finishing now. This is a square nut that we've made, that Andy's made mainly. I just drilled the hole and tapped it, for a knife to fit a scabbard that he's already got, that he's had for a long time. New thread put in there. Washer still turns as it should. Put the magnifying lens back on its stem, and of course we can't forget the Samson casting, the beautiful cast bust. So that's it for today, folks. I'm going to finish a couple of jobs tomorrow for Andy, and then he might be back next week. So see you all again. Bye now. Morning, folks. It's Chainsaw Thursday. Topped up with oil, topped up with petrol, chain tightened with the fabulous Still chain tightening device, and we'll have to do some more wood. But first we need to order a replacement gear for the tractor starter. Good news, folks, we've fixed the tractor starter, and I'll just show you what was wrong. When we put that starter on, it worked, but it didn't drive. And I've now lost the part that I was going to show you. Just a minute while I find it. Right, I put it back on the starter. This piece here is a clutch, a little clutch. That one is also a little clutch. But inside that little clutch, there should be two flats that lock onto the two flats on the shaft that you can see down there. You see those little two flats there on the bottom of the shaft? They've sheared off, so that clutch just spins. This clutch has the two flats on it, and it's locked, so when you turn the clutch it also turns the shaft. See? So this is what was wrong. I put a new starter on it with a good gear on it, but the clutch was sheared. You see, that just spins. No good. So if your Briggs & Stratton starter goes into gear but doesn't turn the engine, it's probably that clutch that's gone. There you go, Briggs & Stratton tips. In the winter sun, the old woodsman is coppicing his willow. How disgusting. A rustic scene. We've cut all the willow down. We've got those left over to sew up. These are staffs. These are puppies being bouncy and leaping around the place. And I think we've just about got this tree now. I think we've cut off all the fallen stuff and all the rotten stuff, and that'll do for now. We'll see what else falls off it a bit later.
Tied it up somewhat.
Yeah, we've tied it up a lot, haven't we? Another bag of logs. That's the second bag of logs to drag. We'll get those sewn up and jobs are good. And that's it, day, folks. That's a day, Thursday. As the sun sinks over the western horizon, another day of field work is completed. We have two nice big bags of willow logs drying out in the polytunnel, and a great big pile there on the back of the tractor. I'll see you all tomorrow for some nice relaxing machining. Bye now. Morning, folks. Cold, damp and misty here in Langtoft. A dank January morning. But it's nearly February. And it's nice and warm in here. So, what are we on with this morning? Well, Andy's left me a couple of little jobs. One is to finish what I said I was doing yesterday, but had forgotten that I was up at Keith's yesterday and we were doing the field. So the first job is a piece of brass handle to go onto that poker, which I've just centred up in the lathe, and I'm gripped very gently on. I just have to square that bottom off. I've just centred it up using the revolving centre there, which has worked very well. So we've got a reasonable, it's reasonably square now. It's as square as it'll ever be. And the other one is the milling of this, which I told you I was going to do, on yesterday, but I'm actually going to do it today. So after we've done this little soldering job, we'll crack on with this. Thank God it's warming up here. It was very cold this morning. Never mind. Folks, let's see if we can just skim the end off this without actually knocking it completely out the centre. Very gently. Just a wee bit more. Let's just lock the saddle and let's put a cut on with that. Very gently. And I think we've got it. Yes, we have it. Yep, that'll do. Excellent job. Here we go, folks. With cunning use of the old-fashioned plumber's plan to produce the second lathe. Job done. Job done. Antiques arrows. Well, in actual fact, antique is me. Here we go, folks, it's gas milling. Very good. Let's just stop a minute and let's just see how deep down this goes. Oh yes, quite a long way. Quite a long way. It's arbitrary milling, this. Arbitrary milling. Nice. We do one more and see how that goes. Lovely. Right, are anything like that? Yes, we are. So that could be full depth. Right. Stop. Go over a flat. Right, and then we'll mill gently across at that. Change 4 flats. What I've done here for depth is I've just put that to the edge so that this is flush with the edge of the jaw, so that we get the even depth every time. Right, let's swap it over one. Oh. So, okay, here we go. Very gentle this time because we're taking the full cut off this time. Closes up at that corner. Beautiful. Where's my stick gun? There. Here we go again. And the final front here. Now I may just decide when I compare it with the original, I may just decide to take a wee bit more off, but we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I think it's going to need maybe another relative cut just to get it down to the square size. Right, let's look at that. No, it's not much. Right, let's just take another cut off. I wonder if I ought to leave him a bit on actually so that he can file it up and make it look more original. This is not the part that came off. This is a similar correct style of nut, and obviously you won't want on an antique piece, you won't want a nicely perfectly square milled nut. It wants to be a little bit handmade, so let's just take that off all round and see how that goes, and then leave him a bit to clean up, because otherwise he always complains if I destroy the patina. Oh no, he says you can't hold it in a vice. I said, well, I've got to hold it in something, otherwise it'll fly all over. Where's my angle gone?
There we go. Now this milling machine came from the school I used to go to, but it wasn't there when I was. It was a later addition, and it's a great pity that they didn't spend a bit more money and get the one with the clutch in, because I would have ended up with it. Is that being churlish? Maybe it is. It's a beautiful machine. It's hardly done any work at all, as you would expect from a school machine. There isn't a mark on the table, not a mark. Yeah, I'll leave it at that, because then that's within a couple of thou, and then Andy can rough it up a bit. Right, that's that part of the process done. Next part of the process is to take it out of the collet here, put it in the lathe and part it off at the correct depth, which is a little bit more than that, but let's get on to that. This new parting off tool, I was going to say, this used parting off tool that I obtained at a very bargain price, as usual. Sorry for getting in the way a bit, but I use the necessity. Parts off beautifully, so whenever you part it off, rigidity, no overhang, everything dead tight. I've locked the saddle off here because the last thing we want is the saddle sliding from side to side. And I'm a nervous parting off type. I've had some horrendous little screams and squeals and parting off, but this is just a revelation. We're almost there. Almost to the hole in the middle. What a piece of kit this is. There she goes. Lovely. This is what we're using. Can you see that there? Yes. You can't really because it's covered in cuttings, but that's what I'm using. In this type of holder. And it has to be said that this is an expensive piece of kit, but it came with a load of horticulturist student bits I bought, and it does a fantastic job. So I shall be getting new tips for it, even though they are quite expensive. Right, on to the vise and do some tapping. There we are, folks. It's a little bit oversized for him to file down and roughen up to make it look authentic. Then of course he'll probably rust it and mess it about. But that's a 5/16 one, which is off a different sword, but that's the type it should be. This is going to be a 1/4 one. Right, let's stick a thread in it. Whoa! Right, back we go. Take this one out and swap it for the plug tab. Or as some say, the bottoming tap. But I was always taught by my good old metalwork teacher, taper, second cut and plug. If it's good enough for Jim Wrigley, it's good enough for me. So there. I may even have got that. I may even have got that. No, just a bit more. Just a bit more to do. That's it. We're through. Lovely. And there we are, folks. All fitted to the, don't know whether this is a Scottish, but I think it's known as a basket handle, but there you go. There it is. So it's there for him to rough up now and make it look authentic. Right, that brings to a close antique repairs for today. And it brings the day to a close. Now I'm going to have a tidy up, clean the machines down and cover up. There we are, folks, a box of assorted swarf, and the job's done. I can put that and that back with that. And these are now on the goods completed table. But I have another job to do, because it looks like very much that I've sold the stair lifts. Won't that be a big mess out of the workshop? So I've all this bloody lot to clear now. So let's crack on with it. There's a sight for sore eyes, folks. The shelves, they're back. And there it is, all dismantled and on the platform ready for collection tomorrow. I do hope he turns up and collects it.
because I should be glad to see the back of it, because it's a bloody nuisance. It gets in the way, it's awkward to handle and it's awkward to store. I've actually had the smaller one going just now to run it back up to the top, so that they're both movable parts are on the top section, on the motor section. So there we go. Right, it's come to that time again. We're all tidy, all the machines are covered up again, I've washed my hands. So, thank you all for watching. Send me some likes, thank you for the likes I've been sent. Send me some comments. Tell me what you think. And I'll see you all next week when we go back onto the Holbrook. But also, Andy has said that he will be back again, if not next week, the week after, and we'll do another day of antique repairs. So there you go. It's varied and it's interesting, or at least it interests me. This is a strange thing. It's a little meat cleaver. Now, it may have that may be the remains of a touch mark. I would think this is blacksmith. Well, it's definitely blacksmith made, and that could be a touch mark. But that could be old. That could be medieval almost. And there you go. No way of telling with metal. No way of telling how old it is. But it's nice, and it's one of Andy's things, and he said, I don't know what to do with it, I can't sell it. He said, I've had it on my stall for bloody years. So there you go, so it's among his junk. Right, I was saying goodbye. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for likes. Send me comments. If you haven't subscribed yet, get subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything and it makes me happy. Bye now.